What's up YouTube, it's your boy Greezy, and today we're going to be going over how to play Jager, a guide here for you in Rainbow Six Siege. And so we're going to kind of start out with some basics, more for like beginners in the game, so you have an idea of how to play Jager, things you'd want to do with him, very good places to put the ADS devices. So we'll kind of go over a few things like that. We'll get a little bit more deep as we go, some other spots you can put other tricks. We'll kind of go over some basics of really how you want to play him when you first load in if he's an operator, because he is a very common operator. You hear a lot about him. If you're like, even if you're new to the game, you'll see a lot of things on posts online, Facebook, Twitter, any social media you use. If you have Rainbow Six, you're going to hear a lot about Jager because he is one of the strongest ops in the game, even after the last couple of nerfs he's gotten. So as a beginning into the game, he's definitely one that everyone gravitates to. His gun is very easy to control, very little recoil, and it still hits like a truck. So it's definitely a great gun. So I'll go over some places you want to put him, how you'd like to play him, some good ways you think about wanting to play him, as we go from there. So when you first load into a map as Jager, you're going to have reinforced, but you're going to have kind of a job to do initially because you have to do a lot to put down all your ADS devices, if you bring barbed wire or the camera, and reinforce walls. So a lot of times you want to either be one of the last ones to reinforce or one of the first ones to reinforce. So I a lot of times will try to be first, unless it's like if I'm solo queuing, I'll get my stuff down first, and if we miss maybe a wall that's important or somewhere I feel like I need to put a reinforcement after everyone else has done their thing, I have my utility down, then I'll go reinforce. But you want to think about as well when you're playing, especially when you first get into ranked, where would be good places to put them, where are people going to push. So I came on to Theme Park here because this is one of the newer maps, kind of since it's been reworked into the game now. It's still very similar to what it was before, but they have new bomb sites. So this was one of the newer ones to the site they've added. It's actually the newest like rooms and site to play on this map. And it's one of the most common and probably easiest to defend on the whole map. Even if you just jump right in, it's one of the easier ones to hold because you just reinforce 1, 2, and 3 walls, and then you're good to go from there. And then you want either one of your bandit or your other players. But we'll go over how we play Jager. So you want to think about who you ban. So a lot of times on Theme Park also, you're going to have probably a Thatcher ban is going to be almost every match you play. I'd say it's probably going to happen 99% of the time. 90% of the time when you're playing. One of every 10 may not have a Thatcher ban, depending on what rank you are. But it's a very common ban on this map. It's either going to be a Thatcher or a Maverick. So if Thatcher is banned, you want to see what walls are important. So a lot of times teams are either going to be going for this wall or that wall. So what's going to happen there is you're probably going to have your bandit or Cade maybe that's trying to trick to make sure we can keep the wall intact. So if the Thatcher is banned, you want to put your ADS devices somewhere that's going to help protect them when they're tricking, or to stop when they're trying to either nade, like if they have bandits on the wall and then they're maybe on the other wall waiting to see if they haven't come, so no one's giving call-outs that they're trying to push, like say they're trying to push this wall and your team doesn't know that yet. And so you want to make sure you have ADSs in place, because if they just put the bandits down, then they go maybe to try and stun that wall to protect it, or the way around. You want to put your ADS devices to protect, because a lot of times your teams might put holes here, or maybe they're going to put holes because they want to try to throw over grenades or anything to try and get the bandits, or if there's a Cade somewhere on the wall, off of it so they can breach it. So in this situation, you want to put them in good spots that are out of the way so they're not easy to be shot. So like right here is good. It's going to protect anything that comes over this wall. That's going to reach probably about, to me, it's how far it's going to go. That's how much distance you're going to get out of an ADS device for it to hit anything that comes over that wall. So you don't have to worry. It'll stop anything coming over. And it's really hard to shoot. No one's going to be able to shoot it from over there because they're going to be exposed if they even have a chance at it. They're never going to have an angle on it. And then they have to swing all the way in here through split to have a chance at getting to it. So by that time, you're probably going to have them getting shot, or your team's going to know. So it's a really good spot to put it. I sometimes also break this pot and then put one right here. And that way it has double the defense, because this is a common wall to push. But it really depends on how you play. If you're going to have someone over there kind of watching it when they roam, or if you're going to be Jager and go roam and kind of watch the room, I might just put one there at that point so I can have more protection. And then I'll put one over here, so either there or put it about right here behind the thrown wall. That way it'll stop anything coming over, but it can't be shot out easy in any way. And then probably put one about right here. Because if they're going to go for this wall, you have the protection to stop, but then they're also probably going to be trying to push through this door as well. So now you can stop smokes, or if they're going to flash, you'll be able to stop at least 2, because each one of these devices gets rid of 2 throwables or like projectiles. So say if you have a Zofia, it'll hit 2 of those. Each one of these will be able to capture any 2 that comes with any flashbang, smoke, Ella's Zofia breach charges, the Grismont mines that Zofia shoots. Those Grismonts are like Ella's. And it also get Ash's breaching charges as well. It doesn't affect Capital's bolts or any track stingers from Gridlock though. So you gotta remember that. So it's not gonna stop anything like that. It's not gonna stop those. The Gridlock track stingers will go right past us. It won't see it, or it won't stop it, I should say. And then also the Capital bolts won't be stopped by this either. That's for what Wamai does. But these will stop any like aces that get thrown. So the Selma charges he gets, you can stop those as well. But that's a little bit more advanced once you get to where you want to play maybe in certain areas. Just try and stop those, you can place them. But this is more of a basic loadout. So you want to put them in places that are going to be common push areas. So a lot of times this is a very common entryway into sight for teams. So they're going to be trying to throw flashbangs, or they're going to be trying to throw smoke grenades or anything like that. So it's a very good place to put it there, because it's hard. It can't be shot out by any angle. I don't care where they are. They're never going to see that Jager device, the ADS. So you want to put them in very common places to push, and also common places that they're going to be trying to maybe get things off a wall, or they're going to be trying to stun so they can get it open. So it's a very common place to put it. And we'll go from there. And then also as Jager, you want to be a roamer. So once you put everything down, like you say, you get your bar bar, you put it down so they can't come through, or they're going to let your team know. You're trying to be more of a roamer. So Jager is in the classification of roaming, even though he's been nerfed. He's a 2-speed now instead of a 3-speed like he was about a season and a half ago, 2 seasons ago. But you're going to be roaming. So you want to try and play off-site a little bit, but you're trying to delay the other team. So the idea there is you want to be in common places that teams are going to push from. That way you can stop them, or even just slow them down. You don't have to try and stop them, but you're trying to slow them down. So it's not like you're trying to maybe get kill crazy, kill hungry, go off and try and get every kill you can, but you're trying to let them know you're there, so they have to worry about you. So even if you only get maybe 1 kill, or even if you don't get a kill at all, if you can waste as much time as possible, you're going to be helpful. But if you have teammates that start dying off on site, you want to start moving back towards the site as well. Because every time, if I'm a roamer, my goal is kind of like if you ever watch Braction, is I get a room closer for each teammate that dies when I'm roaming. So like say if I'm over here way off site and I'm trying to slow anybody down that could be coming through up here to clear, or if they're trying to push through the windows in break room or down here. So if I have a team that dies on site and they were on the other side of the map, my goal is I'm going to try and either push around over here so I can get on top of where they were killed from, or if they have anyone that maybe I get a call out that they're pushing down the hallway now, I can push down yellow. And so I try to get within about a room closer. So say I was over on the stairs, so I try to go this whole room distance closer to the site so I can try and still help alleviate pressure. But if you get a rush, get back as best you can. But for each time someone dies like that, so someone was over there, maybe they get killed because they were sitting in maintenance or under Dragon, I try to get closer so I can get into a better position to help my team from there. But also if you want to do that, maybe you're not worried it was just one person, that person gets refragged, you can always maybe try to come back over here, because I'll do that. And then I'll try to stop and see if we get anyone pushing here. But within about 30 seconds, if they aren't opening these windows and trying to get to here, I'm not going to really stare too much because I don't want to be useless at that point. So I'll end up doing like I did there is rotate. I'm either going to rotate up across to watch and see if anyone's going to try and push me. And then you just push back over and make sure you can start helping your team alleviate any pressure. Because a lot of times you'll get, so they might have someone that comes up here and they're trying to break the floor so they get to see down into sight. So I'm going to be trying to do either a flank at that point or just helping push them away from that, so it's not as easy for them to get angles on your teammates either on site. But we'll kind of go over some other sites real quick here as well, see if there are ideas of how to place your Jaegers. Because you want to be able to talk about where you want to place them, if there's like windows on site or by doorways. So I'll jump in another round real quick here on a different site, and we'll kind of go over that as well. Alright, so now here we are on a different site for theme park, and so this isn't really a site I'm trying to say you should play. It's not a great site. It's not terrible though. This used to be one of the strongest sites when Theme Park was first brought into the game. This was a very common site people played, was the Lab and Storage. I believe that was still the same names they were before. Yeah, Lab and Storage. But I'm kind of go over, just want to make sure we kind of go over whether there's sites from outside to inside on site, or windows that can be very advantageous for the attacking team to be using. So like I mentioned, when you roam off, you want to roam, make sure you do push out and make sure you help. But also placing Jaeger devices on like doorways that are important to site, or windows where they're going to push from. You want to put them somewhere that's not going to be easy to get shot from other angles either. So like on a window like this, you can put them just underneath the window as well. You don't want to put them necessarily all that close either, because let's say they do have the thatcher, maybe you don't want them to be able to just throw the thatcher and then it's gone. You want to still try and be very strategic of where you put them, but you also don't want to put it somewhere that's like, say right here, so if they do push in the bathroom and they can get a hold of that, maybe that room potentially, so no, maybe you don't have someone playing over there, you don't want to put it somewhere that's like, I mean, it's out of the way so this can't get it, but it's also going to make it so if they do have maybe someone that jumps in through either the window or they push down here and they're trying to come in, that they can't just shoot it out, and then all of a sudden your team has this window now to worry about as well, because they can smoke it off or they can try and flash it. But you want to think about where you put them. So on sites with windows, but depending on the windows where you're at, it's not terrible to put it underneath it, but it depends on how you want to play. I try to put it on the wall next to the window, but that way it's still out of line of sight. That way it can't be shot from an angle on the window, but it has no other place really that's easy to get to shoot out either from somewhere else. And then like with doorways, it depends on how you want to do it. I try to do it as well like on the wall, because then they're not as easy to get to, but the floor is not a bad idea either. But you don't want to put it like right here on the door if you're going to do that, because then right now I can shoot that off the wall. So any angle you'll be able to see that, you'll be able to shoot off the wall. It's not going to be a good spot. So you want to make sure, and then you also don't want to make it so they can just come up to the doorway and have an easy angle on it from like right here. So say if you put it even just a little bit further over like that, you don't want to put it necessarily easy to get to, so they walk up, they can see the tip and just get rid of it. You want to put it in a spot because that's going to be helpful for you, that's going to make it last as long as possible, so it's hard to shoot out. And again, these have huge area and radius that they can protect from any throwables. So that, from that Jaeger device, I believe it should go about this far. Yeah, I believe it's about a 5 to 6 or so meter. So anything within this circle, like from this radius, from me to it, it's going to stop anything that comes within that area. So you just have to kind of remember how that works, where you're going to put them. But doorways are always nice. You don't have to necessarily put it right next to the doorway or right next to it here. You can put it a little off. That way it still can stop anything that comes through it. But now it's out of the way, so it's hard to get rid of as well. So make sure you stay strategic about that. And things like this with windows, you also say if there isn't really anywhere you can put it that's necessarily great, you can put it right here underneath. And most of the time on that angle, there's no way they're going to get rid of it without either trying to shoot it from going either upside down or just trying to burn it by throwing other devices. But it really depends on what site you're on. Like on Consulate, on the windows of the console office upstairs, where it has the double windows, you can put them like that and it's going to be a good spot. Because even if they go upside down and repel, it's almost impossible to shoot them out because of how the window's set up and how close you can get it to the wall. But even in that situation, you still want to kind of put them off, because that way it'll just make sure they last and do their job as well. And then again, like this, you don't want to put it, say if you put it like right here, you don't want to put it there, because at that point it's still going to be easy to be seen coming through. But you never want to put them places that are useless to your team either. So what I mean by useless is like, yeah, say you're holding this site and holding this site, putting something right there on this window isn't really going to be helping anybody unless you have someone that wants to play near, which isn't necessarily ever a great idea anyway. Like, you either don't want someone just playing in bathroom for no reason. You want to put it places that's going to help your team. So like someone is trying to hold, if you're trying to protect them, maybe you have like a Maestro or a Jager, or a Maestro or Echo, sorry. You can put the ADS device somewhere to help protect him as well. So like say he wants to play over here in this corner and he's protected from that doorway, but you don't want to get him naded from underneath. you can always put one of your devices next to him as well, and that'll help protect, because that way if anything comes through the drone hole, it's going to get zapped by the ADS device as well. So you want to kind of just think about that. You'll kind of get more in depth as you go higher in rank, or if you start playing with some friends and start getting higher up and learning the game more, and you'll start getting like strategies together, or strats you'll start doing. Because you'll see a lot of times, like in Pro League, sometimes they'll just put all three of these devices with one player, but that's because they have the strat there where they're trying to hold that area as long as possible. So they just want to try and stop everything that's going to be getting thrown at them. Grenades make the team burn utility, and that way that guy's pretty much going to be playing his life out at that point, trying to just waste as much time as possible, make it so they can't kill him easy, make him have to waste flashbangs or grenades, anything they have to try and waste to burn the ADS devices to try and kill him as well. So it just depends on how you play, but as a basic beginning player, maybe even intermediate, you want to put these in places that are going to help your team for sight. So like on the wall over there by that, you want to put it right next to that cabinet maybe, and that way it's going to stop anything coming through there, and it's not going to be easily shot off, so they can't get rid of it. Or something like this. So like you have the player that wants to play over here, but you don't want them to get naded. Then you have that to protect them as well. So you want to think about where you're going to place them, how you want to play the operator. I'm beginning like with Jager, you're going to be trying to roam. So on this sort of a site downstairs, I'd usually play over in here somewhere. That way I can stop people, because they really only have one way in, is this doorway right there. And if they do blow up in the wall or something, you're going to know, you'll hear it, and so it's going to be easy to push. But from this area, you're going to have a lot of, let's say, like advantage, you could say, to be able to hold off, because they have to come through one little area, unless again they're going to try and blow open the walls. But at that point, you're going to know where they're going to be, and then you can either take off if they don't have anyone over here trying to hold you, and then you can rotate again around all the way to sight and help your team out as well from there. And then you can watch the doorway if you need to, or if anyone's trying to come down the stairs, you can watch all of that. And also if you see here, you can get a pretty good angle that goes pretty much all the way into the side as well from right here. So that bolt wasn't great on that one, but usually you'll be able to shoot all the way back into here. See, you have a pretty good angle from that spot, just where you were back on that corner. So you just want to kind of think about where you are, where you're going to be shooting from. If you have any other maps you'd like me to go over, maybe some strats I can put together for you as well to show you how to play Jager, some better ways of where you want to sit. But you always want to remember, you're trying to be a roamer, you're trying to delay the other team playing Jager. So make sure you do put your ADS devices down though before you take off and roam, or if you want to take one with you. But try to have some down for sight, because it's never fun to have a Jager up on the board and then you die to, like, say, a grenade or something that came through a window, and you didn't have a flashbang that burned out because there wasn't an ADS device there to help protect you, or even let you know that something was coming through the window. Just remember, you're roaming off. Be smart about it. Don't try to do too much, but try to make sure you do help your team out as best you can. And if you have any other map you want me to go over, with where you put ADS devices, any other sites, let me know down in the comments below. If you aren't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like as well. And we'll keep it till next time. Keep it easy, keep it breezy. It's your boy Greezy. I'm out.